everyone, thanks for joining me. My name's Matt, and this week I have some pretty exciting information, at least for myself here. So this past weekend I was actually able to get my first leads coming through, as well as I actually did my first showing. So I just wanted to go over kind of how those calls went, the people that I spoke with, some of the issues I had, questions I had, things I didn't cover, good stuff, all that. So I've now been able to kind of connect with 3 clients, and these are all through the leads that my company pays for that come directly to me. 2 of them have not worked out, but one worked out pretty well. So I'll go over the first 2 kind of ones that didn't work out. And the first one was, I didn't talk to this person, but they wanted to view a house. I was able to text them, get an appointment signed up. And actually, I'll take that back. We did talk on the phone briefly, and they told me that they're working with an agent already. So after a little further investigation, I found out that their agent was just busy that night, couldn't show them this house that they wanted to see, and they wanted to see it. So I wasn't able to show them that one. I just simply said that, I think this would be better if maybe your agent did or somebody on their team. Because as a new agent, I want to be very respectful of other people's existing clients. I think at all times, even when I'm an experienced agent, I'll want to be respectful of that. Just because I know from my end, it would hurt to have somebody just kind of take a client right away from you. The house that they wanted to see was also already under contract and wasn't accepting any new showings, so it really wouldn't have worked out. The other call I get was on Friday night. It was, late Friday night. I was still ready to, take some calls, see what I can do. And the house that the person found was a for sale by owner, but it also had an offer to purchase with an existing tenant in it. So when I reached out to the owner of the property, said, hey, I have a client that's interested in, purchasing this property. I was like, just so they're only on the buy side. I don't want to list your property, just to make sure that they knew I wasn't there to, advertise or try to hit them with a sales pitch. And they told me that the house is only available to investors because there's an existing tenant in there with the offer to purchase. I don't know the details about the offer to purchase, how long this tenant's contract is, anything along those lines. But I don't really fully understand why you'd be selling if you have a tenant in there and they can purchase the property. Somebody can buy this property and then the tenant can buy it 2 months later. So that just sounds like a lot of waste of time and everything. So I was texting back the lady that wanted to see it saying, sorry. She just was like, oh, not gonna work. Thanks, but no thanks. And so I was like, hey, that's okay. Let's see what other kind of properties you have. Anything else you want to show? We already have that time set, so I'll be happy to take you to another property. No interest. So kind of tossed that one to the side. I also did my first open house this weekend. Sat there for about 2 hours and only one person came through, but that's okay. I was able to give them a business card, kind of build a little bit of a communication with them, a little rapport. But nothing too crazy with that. Really, I just spent most of my time networking on Bigger Pockets, which has been very helpful. So that's about it for the open house. And then the one that did go well was I got asked to do a showing yesterday for a house that was on like 5 acres of land. And when I was looking it up, I was like, man, I might want this property. Really good price, 5 acres of land. So I was able to talk to the people on the phone. I was able to get the appointment set for them. I showed up to the house a little early because I was really nervous about not being able to open up the super key, the little key box that you use to get in there. That worked out just fine. It was super easy to do. What I did is I actually held the keys in my hands the whole time. That way I just wouldn't forget or pocket them and walk away without putting the keys back. But when they got to the property, there was a few things they asked me that I didn't know the answer to, and maybe these are things that I would look for in the future. First question they asked, and really I should have known this, was what kind of water it uses. So I learned if you're in the Charlotte region and you use like Canopy for your MLS system, your phone, when you pull it up on your phone, doesn't show the water system. But if you pull it up on a computer or an iPad, it does show the type of water that they use. So I wasn't able to find it. I texted somebody I work with, see if they can get that for me, and they were able to get back to me with the information. But I do feel like moving forward, that's like the little information I should really know going into these. It's just, hey, what kind of water does this use? Is it, a well, septic, city, whatever. The other question they asked me, and this one I'm still a little unsure on, but we'll see how it goes, since it's 5 acres, and it's really like 5 acres, but maybe less than an acre is usable because the rest is just heavily wooded, or it's got a pond on it, or anything like that. So they asked if like I knew exactly where the property line stopped, and I didn't. And I'm not sure if that's something that I would know, or if that's something that like a surveyor would know, or I don't know, somebody other than me. You know, I don't know if that's like up my realm. So that's something I'm kind of looking into and seeing if I should know. Even if it's something I don't have to know, I think moving forward it is something I would like to know, or at least have a better answer prepared. So, you know, when that question comes up, I'll be ready for it. So, walked around the house for a while, you know, they checked it out, I was able to answer some of their questions, give a little bit of information, but ultimately what I did is just kind of, when they showed up, introduce myself and said, hey, you know what a kitchen is, I know you know what a bathroom is, so I'll just hang tight in the background here, let me know what questions you have, or if there's anything else I can do to assist, which I think they appreciated. You know, there's nothing worse than having a salesperson breathing down your neck the whole time you're looking at a house. And I think that's something that I'll continue to do moving forward, is just because I want people to look at me as a resource rather than a salesperson. And that's where I think I'm going to create the most value, is just being that resource, having the information, hopefully next time knowing what kind of water the house is connected to. But, you know, we were texting after that. I was like, hey, super nice to meet you guys today. Let me know if you're interested in the property. You know, if there's anything else that catches your interest, also let me know. I'll be happy to set up a time for us to go view that. They responded back saying they're not interested in the property, but they would like to work with me moving forward. So I think it's safe to say I have my first client. Nothing official yet, you know, nothing set in stone quite yet, but I think they liked working with me. I liked working with them. You know, never going to have to be like a lifelong relationship with these people, but I just think it's important to at least have a few clients that I'm now starting to build up a network with. They did also, a little side note, they had a kid with them, and that was totally fine. I don't care about that. But I did notice, and I'd be curious maybe if anybody's had experience with this, I noticed that kids will just start touching everything. You know, they'll open up the dishwasher, they'll open up the oven, they'll touch the buttons on the oven. There was like a remote laying there and they just start pushing buttons. I'm like, for all I know that could be life alert. And luckily it's just for a fan. So if anybody that sees this, if you have any maybe pointers or advice when kids come in, just because I could see, you know, again, this kid was great and didn't have a problem with him being there. But I could see maybe in other houses or other children that go through the house might create a little bit of issues. You know, if I see them walking in with like a coloring book or something, that might be a little bit different. So just would be curious to see, you know, what maybe you have out there for tips when it comes to children attending the showing. But it's been pretty exciting to get started. You know, I'm glad that I now finally have got my first showing under my belt. I've had my first open house under my belt. So no longer a total rookie. I've actually done this before. And all the things I was nervous about never came up. You know, I'll be honest, I was kind of nervous going to a showing, never having met this person before. And it actually made me feel better when they pulled up and there was two people as well as a kid in the car, because just for my own safety, you know, full disclosure, I've considered actually getting my concealed carry license so that way I can at least have some kind of protection. You know, I'm sure you've been able to tell I'm not the biggest person, so I want to make sure that I'm safe, especially if it's involved with meeting people that I haven't met before at a vacant property, you know, on 5 acres in the middle of nowhere. But no issue there. These people were, you know, very nice, easy to work with. But moving forward, you know, it is something that I've considered. So maybe that's another question I'll ask is, what do you use to keep yourself safe while you're out there? You know, I've heard of people using like wasp spray. You can carry a little can of like that shot, whatever it is. Apparently that's like way better than pepper spray, but pepper spray is another one, even tasers, you know, nunchucks, whatever you got. So any tips on just staying safe and how to handle children would be great feedback. You know, if you do give me some great information, I'll gladly pass it along in the next video so others can know about it, unless you just want it to be between us, that works as well. I think that's about everything. You know, update is that Facebook's been okay for my leads. I haven't gotten any leads from there, but you know, my page has been growing well, which is great to see. And Bigger Pockets has been a great resource. I've had a few contacts on there. People reach out to me. I've had people reach out to me from Facebook, but from my Bigger Pockets. So that's great because I would like to work with investors and be an investor-friendly agent, just given my, you know, previous career in finance. I like investments. I like that investors are going to be the ones buying regardless what the economy is doing. You know, a little less emotion in there, but you know, also I know they're going to be a little bit more picky with what they want and need. So that's about it for today. As always, thank you again for taking the time to watch this video. Any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll be happy to answer any questions or any feedback. Also, go ahead and put that down below. Even if it's just feedback on the quality of the videos, you know, how do I make them better? If you have any suggestions on things I can do to make them more interesting rather than me just sitting here, you know, I'll gladly take all of it. But again, thank you for your time today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. You don't see him much, but there's my puppy. He's like my backup cameraman, you know. He's supposed to keep watch, but this is what we get instead. You just keep doing your thing, Tucker.